Dear children, today we will read a wonderful poem, An Elementary School Classroom in Islam by Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender was born in the year 1909 and died in 1995. He was an English poet and an essayist. In his lifetime, he took keen interest in the politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Before moving further with the poem, I have one question to ask. Have you ever been to the elementary school classroom in Islam? Looking in this slide, we came to know what an elementary school classroom in slum looks like. Before we study the poem, and most importantly to understand the poem, one needs to rise above the locale of the place. An elementary school classroom in a slum, be it in America, be it in England, be it in India, be it in Dharavi, would look quite the same, very much like any other slum classroom and very unlike the classrooms of the rich and the haves. The picture also indicates the absolute poverty and abject suffering and the negligence of the haves towards the have-nots, and how education is a dream for many children, but it is not a dream which the economically sound class ever decide or plan to fulfill for them. Here we have a view of slum, and my heart breaks to see how some of us live in the most beautiful atmosphere and surroundings with open lush green fields, wide courtyards, spacious and big houses, and these children of the slum, they are squashed between the buildings. Their existence is very much like inhuman, that they coexist with the animals. We can also correlate their plight with the characters given in the chapter Law Spring. Now I am going to read the poem word by word in detail, and let's see what the poet wants to convey through the lines. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head. The very first word is repeated, far. It is repeated, so the literary device of repetition points out that how far in actuality is the children's life from the beautiful gusty waves. Gusty is something which is full of life, like nature, the open areas, the mountains, lush green valleys, and the children's faces, or these children are far away from such beautiful resources of nature. Here children seems to be lifeless or dreamless, away from those bounties of life and nature. They are very much captured in the holes. Like rootless weeds, their hair torn round their pallor. Their hair are unkempt and undernourished. Looks like the unwanted grass. The weeds, this word, the meaning of this word is grass, unwanted grass, that we usually take out from the garden and the like. So like rootless weeds also signifies these poor children who are unwanted just like the grass, and they have no role to play in the society. They are merely the unknown citizens of the world. And this pallor is the dull face, or you may say yellow or pale faced children. See, look at the word this Spender is playing just with the images. Further in the classroom, Spender is taking us near to the desk of a tall girl. The tall girl with her way down head. Why does the head weigh down? Because of the burden of poverty and lack of confidence. This girl is a tall girl who cannot put her head up because of the low self esteem, her impoverished state, pressure of casteism, poverty, and the like. The paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. The images very much clarifies about the paper seeming boy who is as thin as a sheet of paper. Why? Because of malnourishment. And why with rat's eyes? Because rats' eyes are always looking for food. Then next is the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his desk, his lesson from his desk. Look at the usage of the words. An heir of twisted bones. How ironical is this heir? Heir is someone who inherits a lot of money and property, but this child is an unlucky heir. Why? Because he inherits nothing but the gnarled disease or rheumatism, you may say. He too is struggling hard to recite a poem because of his deformity, because of his stunted growth. Then here is our next person in the class. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrels' game in the tree room other than this. This one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream, as he would rather be out than to give an ear to this superficial knowledge being imparted to them in the classroom. Knowledge is superficial, yes, as he cannot relate the same with his own stark and real world. This boy can also be taken as a symbol of hope, who despite of their poor condition does dare to dream. And we know that the one who dreams eventually achieves. So this stanza is all about the description of the children who are a part of this world. Let's quickly revise the main persons or characters from the first stanza. First we met a tall girl who seems to be diffident or who is having lack of confidence because of the poverty. Then we met a thin boy who is so thin just like one sheet of paper, which could be because of malnutrition. Then there is one more boy who is with the gnarled disease and he is unlucky because he has nothing else to get from the father but one disease. But eventually, in the end or the closing lines of this stanza, after the three figures, we get a final symbol of hope in the eyes of this active boy who seems to be full of dreams. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities. So the stanza begins the word sour cream walls. Why are the walls being called sour cream walls? Well, this takes a picture of creamish color in our mind, not the kind of walls that we usually have in our classroom. Newly painted, white and bright, pink, blue. But here the color is sour cream. The color shows the total negligence of people who are managing the school, as they haven't given a second coat of paint on the walls. On sour cream walls, donations. And also, there are the names of some people who donated money for this school. The names are written on the walls of that classroom. Some donations were given to paint the walls by some rich person in a fit of generosity. Some politician or important figure once thought to give money to start education like it happens in our country, and thereafter never thought to visit the same place and see its condition. Let's see what else is there in the classroom. Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. So here is a picture of William Shakespeare on the wall. His head, which is bald, looks like the rising sun at the horizon. At the daybreak, the sun is rising at the horizon and is semicircular like a dome shape. Shakespearean had always represented. Look at the Shakespearean plays, the Shakespearean characters. We have this Hamlet, we have Prince of Denmark, Macbeth, Othello, and this Julius Caesar. So the characters were all from the elite strata of society. He usually wrote about the civilized people who dominate the cities and the world. The Shakespeare's picture is put here where children cannot correlate their poor world with the rich world of Shakespeare. Then Belt, flowery Tarlis Valley that is in Austria. So here is also a picture of beautiful Tarlis Valley which is full of beautiful flowers. Open-handed map awarding the world its world. Then there is third thing hung on the wall, that is open-handed map, which helps everyone in its own way. But for these children, the map of the world is irrelevant. The map shows us the locations of different travel spots, tourist spots, beautiful locations, mountains, lakes, beaches, sea. But what about the children of slum, where all their futures painted with a fog? Their world is only what they see out of the window of the classroom. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world. So, the map is giving the assistance to many people, but what about these poor slum children? Is this map giving the same help to these children as well? Well, no, because their world is only what they see out of the windows of the classroom, the slum. Their future is full of darkness and there is no place on map where they can identify their own slum, their filthy place, where all their future is painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. Their future is compared to a narrow street, which directly means that there is no scope of growth. These children are far away from the radiant light of knowledge and education. They have dark future without any hope. What they see is the garbage, the filth, the dilapidated furniture, the coexistence with the animals. Well, fog here is a symbol of gloom where everything is unclear. A narrow street sealed with a lead sky. So lead sky is basically the dark sky or the black sky, which is highly polluted, and a sky which does not permit the stars to shine through it. far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. Stephen Spender again uses the word far twice, only to emphasize the fact that how far, how doubly far their life is from the beautiful rivers, capes, and stars of words. What exactly is the stars of words? Words written under the picture are distant stars to them, or probably the learned people of the world, the learned people who have the knowledge of these words, those stars, and these poor children are far away, even in their imagination, they are far away from those stars of words, they are far away from those learned people.